Yeah, we are live. Caleb, thanks for coming in, man. Welcome.
Sure. Happy to be here. How are you?
I'm good, good, good. How are you?
Good. I'm great.
Cool, cool. So until people come, can you just give a bit of intro because there will be people who are like new 18-year-old kids who don't know who Caleb is.
Sure. Sure. My name is Caleb Jones. My background is a business consultant. That's my primary source of income over the past 25 years. But I have three different companies. They're all location independent because I live a location independent lifestyle where I can go wherever I want and be wherever I want. And the money keeps coming in because I want to live a lifestyle of maximum freedom. And my relationship side of that is that I'm non-monogamous. I've been non-monogamous for about 15 years now. So whenever I'm with women, a woman, I'm with multiple women, and they all know that, and they continue to see me anyway. And in the last 4 years, I am now married, but I'm still non-monogamous. So I see women on the side every week, in addition to my wife, and she knows what I'm doing, and it's been working great. So I live a pretty good life.
Awesome, awesome. And that's why I really wanted to talk about this non-monogamous thing because there are people who do this, but they don't have that much, how to say this, experience with it, and they don't do it to be
Well,
correct because they're like,
my experience is most people who do this, who are non-monogamous, they just kind of wing it. They just kind of
yeah.
do what they feel like doing and maybe what they've heard of on TV, none of which works. And they have lots of problems and lots of drama and lots of conflict. And I've spoken with guys. I come out of the pickup artist world. That's where I came from in terms of my online presence. And a lot of those guys in that world said, "Oh yeah, I tried that. It didn't work. It's too much drama," because they didn't have a system that worked. They just tried it. They just guessed on what might work. Well, this makes sense to me. I'll try this. And unfortunately, women don't make sense the way that men want them to make sense. So those techniques usually don't work. So that's my experience too, is that most people try this stuff, end up with a lot of problems because they don't have a replicatable system that works.
So let's just start from the beginning. How did you get into this? You said you came from pickup artist world, right? So how
Mhm.
long ago was it?
So my first marriage was a traditional monogamous marriage, and I got divorced when I was in my mid 30s in early 2007. And the divorce had nothing to do with infidelity or cheating or any of that stuff. It was just a standard divorce, standard marriage. I never cheated. We were married for 9 years. And at the end of that marriage, when the divorce was over, I sat in my little apartment at the time and I said, okay, I am never doing that again. That doesn't work. Why would I ever be in a relationship where I'm only allowed to have sex with one woman, which means if I want to have sex with her and she says no, I can't have sex with anybody. So a woman has every right to say no. She should say no whenever she wants, and that's perfectly fine. But I, as the man, should have the right to go somewhere else if I need to do this, if I need to have these sexual needs fulfilled, because I'm a man and I'm a human being, and that's just how this works. So my goal was I set a goal in 2007 to figure out how to date. My objective was to date 3 women, all of whom were attractive and all of whom were dating me at the same time. They knew I was non-monogamous and they continued to see me anyway without a lot of drama. Those are the parameters. And I worked on that for about 2 years. I did enter the pickup artist world to feed the hopper for new women. Pickup artists were very good at that, but they had limited information on how to make non-monogamy work. A few of them did. And so I went on a forum, a very famous pickup artist forum back then, 15, 20 years ago, called Fast Seduction, which is the forum where Neil Strauss style, Mystery, all those guys came out of. And I kind of poked around there and I was about to leave. I said, well, these are a bunch of young guys picking up chicks at clubs. And I'm a man in his third. I turned 50 next month, but back then I was 35, 36. I said, I'm a guy with a job and a business and 2 kids. I'm not going to be going to clubs at Thursday night at 2 a.m. I'm just not going to do that now. I'm lifestyle for that. And I was about to leave, but then they had a glossary. And one of the terms of the glossary was MLTR. I said, what's that? So I clicked that and it said, dating multiple women at the same time for a prolonged period of time. I went, holy shit, that's what I want. So that's when I kind of leaned in that direction. I pulled the information I could from that world. And some guys had some good information and some guys didn't. And from that, I experimented. It took me about 2 years. So by 2009, I was dating, by the end of 2009, I think I was dating at the time, I have a spreadsheet that tracks all this, 3 or 4 different women at the same time. And I've been doing that since then, consistently. I have not been monogamous at all in 15 years.
Awesome, awesome. So you get into this when you were 30, right?
35, 36, about 36.
Awesome, awesome. Because when got into it, I was 19, so it was like
Well, but
a
see,
huge.
but that's typical. That's typical. Most guys in this world are younger guys. who are looking to get laid and trying to figure this out. And one of the reasons I was able to figure this out relatively quickly is I was already an old man by the time I started this journey. And so my goals were a little different. Most guys in the pickup artist world, you probably know this, their goal is to just bang a lot of chicks, which is fine if you're under the age of about 35. As long as you know when you hit, your mid-30s or so, or maybe sooner, you're not going to want to do that anymore. You're going to need there's another phase of life coming. And the challenge with the pickup artist world is not the techniques. The techniques work for the most part. The how-to techniques do work. I've used them. They work. The problem is that there's no forward thinking. It's all about let's bang as many girls as long as we can. And then all of a sudden, and I'm not mentioning names, but there's a lot of guys, big name guys who've hit this wall. When men hit about 35, they hit a wall. They go, well, what is this all there is to life? Banging girls? I want more to my life. And it's because they never thought about what to do in phase 2 when you're done banging lots of chicks, they get monogamous. And they get monogamous after having sex with 50 women, 80 women, 100 women. And so, of course, that doesn't work because they built in a mindset of variety, sexual variety that they'll never get out of. So that doesn't work either. So you have, if you're a young guy, it's perfectly fine to do that. I did that. I did that when I was an older guy because when I was a young guy, I was a beta male. But it's perfectly fine to do that as a young guy as long as you know I'm not going to want to do this forever. Once I get to the point where I want to do something a little more stable, what will that look like? And if you go, I don't know, then you're going to end up getting monogamous and having breakups and divorces and problems and drama and cheating and the standard stuff that everyone does in their monogamous relationships.
Yeah. So how did you there are people who just say like there is this stigma like if you are 25 just get married, if you are 30 you have to have kids and so on. So how did
Where are you from?
get
Where are you
into
from?
this? I'm from India, but I'm
You're from
in
India,
Russia
okay.
right now. Yeah.
Well, you certainly come from a culture where that is ingrained in your head from day one, right?
Yeah.
India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, right? So you have that even worse than American or Western guys do, and we get that too.
Yeah.
We Western guys get that too. Yes, you get that stigma. What's your question? You're right.
So yeah. So how
My mom, really quick, my mom was a Catholic nun, like wearing the black and white habit right before she married my dad. She was a nun for 10 years. So I was raised very Catholic. So I got a lot of that myself.
Yeah, got it. My question was that how did you get out? Did you have this mindset too before before getting into a game or this pickup, this stigma attached to it?
Did I experience the stigma before getting into this world?
Yeah.
Yes. Not as badly as you growing up in India. Nowhere nearly as badly as you or guys who grew up in your cultures. But the answer is yes. Oh, yeah. My mom, my dad, my friends, a lot of my friends, when I was in my, early 30s, when I was already married to my first wife, a lot of my buddies who were around that age, they started getting married. And even then I'm like, why'd you get married? And I got weird answers like, well, all my friends are getting married.
Yeah.
That's the reason to get married? Well, my mom wants me to have babies. What? What about you? What do you want for your life? We love mom, but mom has her own life. Mom's lived her own life. She had her chance. She had a whole life. She could live. She's an adult. She can do whatever she wants. And I love my mom. I respect my mom, but my mom's not going to run my life once I'm 18 years old. That's my philosophy, is that once you're 18 and out of your house, your life belongs to you, not your mom. Now, if you still live at home with your mom and your mom's paying all your bills, then you can make an argument. Your mom can tell you what to do. But if you're out of the house, assuming you're a legal adult and you're out of the house, you're not reliant on your parents' income, they can suggest whatever they like, but it's your life.
Yeah.
You're a man. Your life belongs to you, not your mommy. When you're over 18 and don't live there.
Yeah. And this kind of pressure comes with even with younger guys too. Like when someone gets into pickup and everyone every friend, they are not talking to girls, they are not doing anything, they're just trying to sending messages online to girls and not having a plan, not doing this cold approach, right, or whatever. That's
I want to say it really quick. That's okay. Getting laid a lot is okay at certain phases of your life. I did that. So that's all right. Did I lose you or are you still here?
No, I'm here.
Oh, there you go. So that's all right. I'm not a conservative. I'm not a traditionalist. I don't have a religion. I'm not a right winger. If you want to get laid a lot, you should get laid a lot. That's great. But You have to understand while you're getting laid a lot, I'm not going to want to do this forever. I need a second phase to this plan that I need to kind of flesh out over the next few years, so that when I decide I don't want to do this anymore, I'm not going to default into the standard monogamy model, which not only doesn't work, but really doesn't work for men who have had sex with lots of women. Matter of fact, and a lot of people in pickup artists didn't understand this, and they still don't. When you establish a precedent of having sex with lots of girls, if you become successful at the pickup artist world or the red pill minister, or whatever you want to call it, you are less capable of long-term monogamy than a typical normal beta male, simp guy. That guy's actually more capable of long-term monogamy than you are, because he's only had sex with 4 girls, and you've had sex with whatever number, 87, whatever that is. Now you're gonna have sex with 1. I remember Tiger Woods. When Tiger Woods came, the news about Tiger Woods came out, it was like 35 different women, and Tiger Woods came out and did his apology. And I heard a guy on the radio say, look, I love Tiger Woods. I accept his apology, but here's the deal. You don't go from 35. This is when Tiger Woods was married, right? You don't go from 35 to 1. You don't do that. Maybe you go from 35 to 4, but not 35 to 1. That's not how it works. And he was right. That's how that works.
Yeah.
You need to know that as you're hitting up girls on Tinder and getting laid, great, do that. Especially if you're under the age 35. Under the age 35, or if you're an older guy and you just got out of a divorce, you have to go through a little crazy phase for a while to get back to normal. Those are the 2 times when that makes sense. As long as you understand, you're not going to want to do it forever. You will not want to be my age, 50, 55, 46, swiping Tinder and going to clubs. You're not going to want to do that.
Yeah. So what is the advice for a guy who wants like most guys, they just want a girlfriend. Most guys don't want to do this. Like it consumes a lot of energy to bang a lot of girls.
Yes.
And most guys,
I've been there.
Yeah, and most guys, they just want to stay comfortable and just get one girlfriend. But that's not a good option, because you said just from you don't go from 30 to 1. You have to go from 30 to at least 3. So what is the plan? How to do this?
So if you're a beginner, did I lose you again? Oh, you're good.
No, I'm good.
Okay, if you're a beginner at this, if this is a new world and you've never done anything like non-monogamy in your life, the standard model is 1 FB and 1 MLTR. I probably need to define those. So in the systems that I teach are the alpha male 2.0 relationship models that I teach. The way you make this work is there's 3 levels or 3 relationship types. You have to fully understand which woman is in which type for you to make this work. So the first type is FB, that is friend with benefits or fuck buddy. That's a woman you have sex with, but you're not dating her. She's your friend. That's it. You're not going out to dinner. You're not spending the night. You're not cuddling after sex. You're having sex. You're talking, hanging out a little bit. But that's it. She's your friend. So the next relationship type is MLTR, which I mentioned earlier. And that is a woman you're dating, who you like emotionally. You have romantic feelings, romantic intentions. You could spend the night with her. You could go out on dates. You can meet her friends under certain conditions. You can do all those things. That's fine. But she's not your girlfriend. So you could have, the M stands for multiple. So you could have several MLTRs. It's completely non-exclusive. You can have 2 or 3 MLTRs and 2 or 3 FBs all at the same time. And I did that for 10 plus years. It works great. So, and then the last one is OLTR, and that is your girlfriend. But O stands for open. So you have a girlfriend. It's your full-on girlfriend, 100%. See her as much as you want. Meet her parents. Move in with her. She's your girlfriend. Put her on your Facebook page, say in a relationship with pictures like that. You can do all that stuff, all the girlfriend, boyfriendy stuff. But you are allowed to hook up with women on the side as long as they're only FBs. So you're not going to date other women. So you're emotionally exclusive, but you're sexually open. So I have an OLTR wife. I'm married. So I'm allowed to have sex with other women, but I can't date other women. And I don't want to. If I wanted to date other women, I wouldn't be married. So with that context, if you're a beginner at this, the easiest model to follow is 1 MLTR, a woman you're dating who is not your girlfriend, but you like her a lot, and then 1 FB on the side. 1 MLTR, 1 FB. It's actually easier than 2 FBs because most guys will want to date somebody. So a lot of guys can't pull off 2 FBs. They have to have one they're dating and one they like. So 1 FB and 1 MLTR. That way one gets his feelings, but it's not his girlfriend. And you get one on the side. Now you're non-monogamous. No one controls your sex life. If one says no, you can always go see the other one. You're good to go. That's the starting point. Over time, you might want something different, but that's the beginning model that works for guys who are beginners. And that's very doable by any guy. Any guy watching this video can pull that off. One MLTR, one FB is not difficult.
Cool, cool. What will be the difference in frames? How to what is the will be the difference? What kind of frames will you put with the FB, and what will be the frames you put with the MLTR?
So they are very different. So I teach a thing called the cardinal rules. It's about 13, 14 rules you follow for all these relationships. And the key difference with the FB and the MLTR is no dates, no spending the night. So in other words, if you're doing something that only a guy she's dating would do, but besides have sex, then that's reserved for MLTR. So if you go out on a date, that's someone you're dating. That's not a friend. Would you take one of your guy buddies and take him out to a romantic dinner and buy him dinner? No, you probably wouldn't do that. And if you went to dinner, you'd both pay your own. Would you spend the night with one of your guy buddies? Probably not. I mean, platonically, would you do that? Probably not. Okay, so it's the same thing with your friend. The FB is your friend. So things you would do with a friend. Now, could you sit and talk with an FB? Sure. Could you sit and talk and maybe watch TV for a little bit? Sure. Now, would you spend the entire evening with an FB? Probably not. Maybe, probably not. But you could. Would you spend the night? No. So the dividing line is what would I do with a friend versus what would I do with someone I was dating.
Cool, cool, cool. And what will be the frames with the MLTR?
The frame of the MLTR is that I care about you. I really like you. I'm attracted to you. I love spending time with you. But you're not my girlfriend, so you can't control me, and I haven't made those commitments. So I've not made commitments to you, and you've not made commitments to me. So I can go date other women if I want. You can go date other men if you want. If you want to do that, you can go do that. We're not committed. We're dating, but we're not committed. That's the frame. But I do like you. You're not a fuck buddy. I like you, and I want to spend time with you. I look forward to spending time with you. I can't wait to spend time with you, and we can cuddle. We can spend the night. We could go on dates. We can spend the weekend together. We can do all that stuff. That's fine. That's great. But I can do that with other people too.
Yeah. I agree. It's great frame. Do you remember there was around 2014 or 13? Julian, do you know RST Julian?
Yeah.
Are you?
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So he had this video about this multiple relationships. So he said that the frame you put with this multiple MLTR is that you treat her as your girlfriend, but whenever she asks for where are we and what are we doing, you just say you say these things like I like you and this type of stuff, but at the end you just say not yet. I'm not comfortable yet, but someday it will happen, but not today, not yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
that can work. I don't like that because that may not be honest. Because as you go forth in this process, there will be MLTRs you really like, but that you know in your heart you'll never date as a girlfriend. So if I were to say that to one of those women, I'd be lying. So you can say that if it's true. So there's another category that is not an official category, but I've had this in my head for a long time, is OLTR candidate. So that's an MLTR, and you go, okay, I really like her. She's really put together. She's smart. We do well together. Low drama, low jealousy. This is someone I could see long-term, her and I, as an OLTR. So if she's that, then you could say, not yet. I'm not ready yet. But if she's not that, I don't say that. What I do say is things like, it's too soon for this discussion. We just started seeing each other 3 weeks ago, and you're talking about being boyfriend, girlfriend. This is way too soon. I said that. Okay. That's okay. And everything else he said, I agree with. Just not,
Not this. There were some things.
True. One of my core value systems, I call it my personal code, is I don't lie. And I can't lie to women. And my strong opinion, my philosophy is, if you're a true alpha male, you don't need to lie. The beta male is the one that needs to lie and hide. A true alpha male says, I'm going to do whatever I want. You don't like it, fuck off. That's a true alpha male. So I don't lie to women. I don't lie, period. So I'm not going to say that if I don't really feel that. Now, if I feel it, I'll say it. Sure. Matter of fact, I said that, sort of, to the woman who is now my wife when she was an MLTR, when she wasn't my girlfriend. I said, look, I have thoughts about this. Let's talk about this later. But it was true when I said it.
Okay. There is this I won't say it's a problem. Where I think what is the best way to start it? You have to first sleep with a girl, right? From after sleeping with a girl, how to treat her so that she becomes like if I want a fuck buddy or like a MLTR, so how to treat her differently in those conditions?
So number one, top of the list is the process begins the very first minute of the first date. That's what men do wrong. What men do wrong is they, from the very beginning, they date women as if this is going to be my girlfriend. And so the framing is very girlfriendish. I'm going to take her out to dinner, buy her a nice dinner. I'm going to get her drinks. We're going to spend we're going to spend this whole wonderful evening together, and it'll be like on The Bachelor. That's girlfriend stuff. So you're setting the wrong frame if you want non-monogamy. So the frame is at the very beginning of the first date. I set a frame. I don't verbalize it. Today I verbalize it because I'm married. So for example, today it's just me as an example because I'm married. My wife's really hot, so I have pictures of her and me in my phone, and I will show new women, hey, I'm married. I point at my wedding ring, but it's an open marriage. My wife knows what I'm doing. I show them pictures of my wife, which helps social proof because she looks good, blah, blah, blah. But the frame is starting off immediately. When I wasn't married, I would just talk about, I would imply that I was dating multiple women, but I wouldn't get into detail about it. So it begins the very first moment of the first date. The dating, the 2 or 3 date model that I teach is, we can go into detail if this you want, is, I'll just summarize it really fast. It's a 1 hour first date where you spend either no money or less than $20. So either you go to Starbucks and sit down and talk and you don't eat anything, or you go to a bar and you buy her one drink and you buy yourself one drink, $20. And it's 1 hour and you get out of there. And you don't try to get to sex, you don't kiss her, you don't do any of that stuff, but you provide a very sexual frame. Then the second date is at your place, where she comes directly to your place and you have sex there if that's possible. And then once you have, then you have sex with her again on another occasion. And once you have sex with the woman twice, I call this lock-in. And that is where now she's accustomed to being with you. And so once you've had that second experience with her, second time you have sex, then you make that decision. Is she an FB or MLTR? She can't be an OLTR because an OLTR has to be an MLTR for at least 6 months. You got to know what you're getting into. So is she an FB or MLTR? You pick at that time. And it's really based on, do you like her and does she have an effed up life or not? So if you like her, great, she can be an MLTR. But if she's a heroin addict, you probably don't want her as an MLTR, but maybe an FB might be okay. So those are the factors you use. There's no set factors. It's whatever you want to do. And then from there, you manage the relationship based on FB or MLTR for as long as you want. And I've had women, over the past 15 years, I've had women last off and on 10 years plus. Consistently for 6, 7, 8 years, inconsistently for 10 years plus. Where they get a boyfriend, they break up, they come back to me. They break up with me, they go get married, they get divorced, they come back to me. I have a long list of women I've been doing this with over the years in various different countries. But that's the overview of the model in terms of how you get started.
Yeah. Cool. There was this video I was watching. You have this concept that just breaking off, giving it a break. You have this concept. Just if she does it. No, where we do it. If she causes drama or anything, if you don't like about, just cut her off. Yeah.
Yeah, I call that the soft next. And that's something out of the pickup artist world. But yeah, that's a term. I didn't make up that term, but I gave it a specific procedure. Yeah. So the way that works is if a woman gives you drama, and it depends on the severity of the drama, you immediately leave wherever you are. You physically leave, and if you're not physically there, if it's over the phone, then you just block her number. You don't have to block her number, but you terminate the conversation, physically leave. Then from anywhere from 48 hours to 1 week, you ignore all contact from her. You don't argue with her. You don't tell her anything. You just ignore all contact. She'll call you. She'll text you. And 48 hours to 1 week depends on how bad the drama was, as you can decide. And then at the end of that nexting period, you just go right back into her life like nothing ever happened. And it is the greatest weapon in your arsenal. You will not believe how well it works. Guys go, oh my God, she might break up with me. No, you will not believe how sweet and wonderful and loving and sexual she will be once you do this. Because women's greatest need for men is attention. Their number one greatest need. It's not money. It's not providership. It's not love. It's not sex. It's attention. They need you to pay attention to them. So if you remove it, they freak. And that's what men don't understand when they sit there and they scream at their girlfriends or scream at women they're dating. God damn, you're giving her attention. She likes that. On a certain level, she likes that. What she doesn't like is if you're gone and not responding to her phone calls or texts. She hates that. And she'll move heaven and earth to correct that. So that's what I do. And hopefully you don't do that too often.
Cool. And do you think there is this right now. There is this how to say this. There is movement like red pill movement. So they say if you just girls have so many options. So do you think that this soft next can cause cheating
No,
probably?
but in my world, cheating doesn't exist because they're allowed to sleep with other men if they want to anyway. So FB, MLTR, OLTR are all allowed to sleep with other men, provided they're not maniacs. The women are not maniacs. So does that mean
Mm-hmm.
that she can go to a bar and randomly hook up with guys while she's drunk? A different guy? No, that doesn't work because now you're threatening my health. So that's not allowed. But beyond that,
Okay.
if you're an adult and it's something you really want to do, then you can do that. If you're worried about whether or not women can if they leave you when you do the soft necks, that is extremely rare. It's literally never happened to me. Literally never. I've done it a bunch the past 15 years. I have never had a woman just leave. So, well, F him, I'm not going to see him again. That's not how it works. Psychologically, that is not how this works. She wants to get back to you. When she doesn't want to get back to you, you're screaming at her all the time. She's like, ugh. Then she goes on
Mm-hmm.
Tinder and starts looking around. Then she goes on her Instagram looking at guys' DMs. That's when she does that stuff, when you're bugging her and irritating her. Yeah.
Cool, cool, cool. Okay, yeah, I get it. I was watching yesterday your video. You did a 1 hour video on like live Q&A about soft next. So I was watching that video. Uh, you
Did I?
answered.
I don't remember
Yeah,
that one. Okay.
uh,
Cool.
it's on your Alpha 2.0 channel, and
Okay.
it's
Okay.
like 1 hour live Q. I don't think it was live, but it was Q&A. So you answered every question
Oh, you're
about it.
right. Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah,
live, but yes. Yeah, I did. Yeah, yeah.
it
Yeah.
wasn't live. So it was
Q&A.
you said in that video. Yeah, first let's answer this question, then I'll ask mine. Should you buy women first drinks on first date?
One, maybe two. And women try to not act like drunk bitches on first dates. They're probably not going to push it. Yes, it's okay to spend money on a first date. I have spent money on. I have been on the number of first dates I've been on is well into the triple digits. It's a huge number. I'm like a first date expert, and so there's been many dates where I bought drinks and I've never had a problem. Now, what you shouldn't do is buy her dinner. Go to a nice restaurant, buy her dinner and drinks and dessert, and it's 5 hours long. No, but buying her a drink, especially if the first date's 1 hour and you're out of there, yes, that's fine.
Cool, cool, cool. Can you answer this question? I'll just I have to just fix something.
Blade iOS is a cool avatar, dude. I need an avatar like that.
Yeah, this question like can not giving too much attention lead to her leaving the relationship? How do you deal with that? Are we here? Are we good?
Here we go.
Okay, okay.
We're both
So
gone for a minute.
yeah, can not giving too much attention lead to her leaving the relationship? How do you deal with that?
No, I have. If the soft next is executed correctly, which I just described, and there's more to it. I can get more details if you want. If you do it correctly, and a lot of guys do it incorrectly, it's easy to
Yeah.
screw up, then no, I've literally never had that happen. And it is very rare that guys in my audience, thousands of guys have done this for the last 10 years plus, the guys in my
Mhm.
audience have reported that to me. It's usually the opposite. They're excited to see you again and excited to come back. Now, here's how you can screw it up. A lot of guys do this, especially when it's the first time you've ever done it. You'll soft next her. Let's say you say, all right, she screamed at me in the middle of the restaurant. Bad. Okay, so I'm going to soft next her for 4 days or 5 days, whatever. And so she calls you and texts you, and she threatens you, and she leaves a voicemail, and she's crying, and you can't stand it. So the next day you reply to her text. You've just fucked it up. You will make the relationship worse than it was if you screw up the soft next. So you got to make sure you just stay strong and don't reply. I'm going to break up with you. Oh shit, don't break up with me. Okay, I'm sorry. You just fucked it up. So don't do that. But if you do it correctly, no, you'll do just fine.
Okay, okay, okay. So it's just basically taking the validation away from her, and she just it just makes her a vacuum of validation, and she has to chase you. Otherwise, she will not feel how to, for the lack of
Right,
better term, she won't feel
right,
complete.
right. And
Yeah.
what's interesting about it is that no other man she's ever been with her entire life has ever done this.
Yeah.
So It's not like she's going to go get a different guy. She wants it from you because she's never experienced that from you. Any woman can get another guy whenever they want, including ugly girls. She wants you. This goes back to the dynamic of why the nice guy goes, why does she date all the assholes? Because the assholes, in most cases, know how to manage attention.
Yeah.
That's correct. The number one need she has from you is your attention. She needs you to pay attention to her. That's what women need and crave from men. And so if you strategically figure out how to manage that need, you can pull off all kinds of amazing things. But just most guys don't understand this. They give her attention, including if it's negative. Screaming and yelling at her and bossing her around and giving her a bunch of rules. You better not do that again. That's attention. She likes that. You're not fixing a goddamn thing.
Yeah. And there in the old pickup community, or like even now, right now, the people just teach how to bang the girl and just till sex. No one talks about how to go into the relationship and how should a man acts in the how should a man act in a relationship. So what should
that's where the pickup artist world is lacking.
Yeah.
And it's always been lacking in that. That's what I found out too 15 years ago. Right.
Yeah.
It's always been lacking that. And I hate saying this because a lot of these guys are my buddies. Pickup artists are terrible in relationships. To be honest, a lot of red pill manosphere guys are terrible in relationships too. They get laid. They do well getting laid, but they get into a relationship. They're just as bad, if not worse, than the typical beta male simp guy.
Yeah.
They're really bad because they don't have any of those skill sets, and they try to use pickup techniques in relationships which don't work. And but you're right.
Yeah. And it was not just lacking in this relationship thing. It was also lacking in the the two-phase model people had, like comfort and attraction and comfort. They just killed all the after getting her attracted. They just killed everything by doing the comfort. They just acted like a beta male in the second part of the interaction.
You mean in the relationship part?
No. In the initial cold approach I'm talking about. There was this type of model too, and it failed. It worked for some people, but it failed for many. I have this question, like yesterday when I was watching your video, you said in that video you talk about that if the girl, even if she's your long-term girlfriend, after you soft next her, she will be open to become a fuck buddy.
No.
No. I think I
heard me wrong or misquote. Say that different. So you're saying I said if she's an OLTR, she's your girlfriend. You can.
I think it was MLTR. Like the relationship can change. Can relationship be changed?
You can. It is difficult. You can do this, and I've done it. You can do I call upgrades and downgrades. So you can. I've done this. Done both these. You can have an FB for a long time, and go. She's pretty cool. I like her. I want to start dating her. So you can upgrade her to MLTR, and now you can start going out on dates. That's fine. Then you can have MLTRs where you go, I made an error. This is not an MLTR. She really should be an FB. Or she was great as an MLTR, and now she's gone through a change or changes in her life, and now she's not a good person to date, but she'd still be good for an FB, so I can downgrade the relationship to FB. So you can definitely do that. Upgrading is easier than downgrading, of course. And same thing with OLTR. I'm trying to recall what you're referring to. I don't think I remember, but that's the overview of women can move between different categories. The woman who is now my wife, interestingly, went through all three. She started as an FB. We're an FB for like a year. Then I upgraded her to MLTR after not seeing her for a while. MLTR for 7-8 months, and then OLTR, and then OLTR wife, which is when she moves in with you. So she went through all three as an example. And you know what? The woman who I was dating, who was very close to an OLTR, a girlfriend before her, same exact scenario. And that's just kind of how I do this, I guess. She started as an FB, went to MLTR, and then went to like almost OLTR for a few years. So you can have women kind of rise slowly.
Cool. You just so if how to choose these girls, how to choose like a MLTR and this long-term relationship girl.
Mm-hmm.
Because for fuck buddy it's easy.
Right. Oh, how do you choose an MLTR?
MLTR and OLTR.
Okay, so two different levels. So MLTR, once you've had sex with her once or twice, if you feel she's normal, she doesn't live a totally fucked up life, and she's a normal person, and you like her as someone you would date, then she's an MLTR. That's it. What I wouldn't do with MLTRs, the things I would use to refuse an MLTR and keep her at the FB level would be if she's really, really, really dumb. But see, you could argue that. I've had one or two dumb girls as MLTRs, lower end MLTRs, that's happened. But if she's really dumb, or if she has a really chaotic life, if she has a really rough life, rough family life, if she does a lot of drugs, not some drugs, but a lot of drugs, maybe not. It's just aspects of her life. If she has a really history where she talks about keying guys' cars and okay, probably don't want to date her. Maybe an FB, maybe not. So things like that. I look for like big red flags, not little ones. You can have little red flags in an MLTR because she's not your girlfriend. So she doesn't have to be perfect. Let's see. So that's MLTR. So that's easy. There's no real set of requirements for an MLTR, and just about anyone can be an MLTR. OLTR is very different because that's a girlfriend. That's someone you're making commitments to, and someone you're ideally planning a long-term future with. So that's a whole different thing. So an OLTR must be an MLTR for at least 6 months, preferably a year. My OLTR was FB or MLTR for 2 years. I'll wait till the lag. So she's been an MLTR for at least 6 months. At least 6 months, a year is better, with very little problems. Okay. You've actually had the talk about non-monogamy. She's cool with it. She doesn't like it, but she's cool with it. Low drama, low jealousy. Everything's been great for 6 months. And then you feel like you want to do this. Then you can upgrade her from MLTR to OLTR. But that's the requirement. You never, ever, and guys make this mistake all the time, you never, ever meet a girl, 2-3 dates, have sex with her 2-3 times, and go, oh my God, this is my girlfriend. No. You're guaranteed to cause problems in your life if you do that. She has to prove to you that she qualifies for OLTR, and most women do not. Most women you date or have sex with will not qualify for OLTR.
So how what are some positive, like, green flags for a girl?
For MLTR or OLTR? Because there's a different list.
Let's just go with the long-term one, OLTR.
OLTR. Green flags for me are low. Number one, top of the list, low drama. She doesn't scream at me a lot. She doesn't argue a lot. She doesn't complain a lot. She's happy. That's my biggest green flag. I'm a happy guy. I want happy people in my life. That's number one. Number two, very little demands. I call them the double Ds, drama demands. So that means she's not demanding. She doesn't say, well, you better start doing this. We'll not be seeing each other. You better do this. You need to call me. You need to text me. You need to do this. You need to do that. You need to stop seeing other women. If she gives you a bunch of demands, she's out. She's probably not even an MLTR at that point. She's an FB or nothing. She's going to give me demands? No. So those are the two big ones, drama demands. Let's see. Other ones would be she has to be physically attractive, because I don't want to have a long-term person in my life who I'm not physically attracted to. That's not going to work. Some guys have the opposite view. Some guys in the red pill world say, well, if she's going to be my girlfriend, I don't want her to be too hot, because then she might fuck other guys and might cheat on me, and other guys will look at her, and I don't like that. That's very outcome dependent, and I don't follow that model. So I want her to be as hot as possible. My wife is very hot, at least to me. So my wife looks like a Playboy playmate, which is what I like. So those are the big ones for me. I don't have a lot of requirements. I'm not one of these guys that she has to be college educated and her parents need to still be married. And again, I'm not a traditionalist, so I don't have a lot of requirements beyond. Those are the two biggest ones. I have to, obviously, we have to have a good dynamic together, but we would know that once you've been an MLTR for 6 months. You'll know the dynamic. We have a really good dynamic. We're really compatible. We're really attracted to each other. We also are compatible and complementary. Those are two different things. We have both those going on. I am very compatible and complementary to my wife. And that's something I discovered just over time, seeing her as an MLTR. So things like that.
Cool. For me too, like, if you want a girlfriend, she should be at least attractive. No? You have to be physically attractive to her, because what the fuck are you doing anyway?
Right.
If you're not doing that.
I know. There's this new model in the last few years of like, your girlfriend or your wife should be no more than a 7. on a scale of 1 to 10. I'm like, what? Screw that. No thanks.
Yeah.
No thanks. Especially if you're monogamous. Now you're in really big trouble. Now you're going to cheat. Because that's what guys do. They get a 7 wife or a 6 wife, and they, within a year or two, they start wandering around because she's not hot enough now, and they're cheating, and then she finds out, and drama and problems and breakups, divorces. Yeah, stupid.
And maybe those guys have just a problem, like they don't feel that they deserve a girl above 7, probably.
A lot of them are like that. A lot of them are like that. A lot of them are very, very religious and traditional and want to go back to the 1950s, and like your Indian parents, very, very traditional, have these traditional model sets, and some of the guys are in that category. But you're right. A lot of them think they don't deserve a woman like that. True. Or can't get a woman like that. So in 2007, I talked about this before, I made a decision that I would only go after the most attractive women I possibly could. I wouldn't even mess with the average girls. I'm going to go after the hottest girls on the dating sites back in 2007 and just make that work. Because I learned when I was in high school, that if you asked on dates, you asked girls out on dates. If you asked out all the pretty girls and you asked out like 5 pretty girls, 4 of them would say no, but then 1 would say yes. So guess who you go on a date with? The really, really, really hot girl.
Yeah.
Whereas if you ask out the average girls, you ask 5 average girls, maybe 2 or 3 will say yes, but you got an average girl. So I learned in high school, okay, yeah, the ratios aren't as fun, but who cares? I'll get 4 no's to get to 1 hot girl. And I remember in high school, my sisters would see the girls that I was with. And I was a beta in high school. I was a virgin. I didn't have sex till I was like 22. So it's not like I was a player, but I was able to go on dates with girls. And at least at my senior year. And both my sisters who went to high school with me like, how are you getting these? She's really pretty. How are you doing this? How are you getting this pretty girl? Well, the answer is I asked 4 other pretty girls who said no. And this was the 5th one who said yes. So I'm like, all right. So I just had that in my head starting in this world when I was 35. All right, I'm just going to go on the dating sites, find the hottest girls. I'm not going to mess with the average girls. And that worked. That worked well.
Cool. And then this is the most important thing, right? You have to try. If you don't try, you will never succeed. There was this movie. I don't remember which one it was. There was this guy. He was like, his dating advice he gave was that if you see 2 hot girls, if you see a hot girl with an average girl, just hit on the average girl. So you will have at least chance to get some pussy.
That's actually true, and that's actually accurate. That's actually true. Yeah.
Yeah. But it just fucks up with your self-esteem too, right? It's just like,
I get the self-esteem in men that say, well, a pretty girl wouldn't like me. I completely understand that. I had some of that after my divorce. Why would a girl like me? I'm not pretty. I'm not good looking, and I'm not a billionaire. And why would a girl like me? So I get it. Doesn't matter. Statistically, there are plenty of really pretty girls who will like you. You just got to go ask them.
Yeah. 100%. I agree with this. What's your advice for like this really important question too, right? Most guys, like every guy has this problem. Like, I have this every guy has this thing. Like, I'm bold. Someone say I have big nose. Some will say I'm young. I'm too old. So how to deal with this? How do you what do you advise? How to deal with this situation?
Well, a few things. So I was the most successful. Actually, that's probably not accurate. I was dating the most amount of women when I was the fattest I had ever been in my entire life. Much more overweight than I am now, by far. And so, and my hair was thinning. I have fake hair now, so I fixed that. I had thinning hair, much more overweight. I had a big gap in my teeth, right there. Right in my tooth, right there. I did not dress well. I didn't dress badly, but I didn't dress well. I didn't know how to dress because most men don't know how to dress. Women know how to dress, men don't. Men have to learn.
Yeah.
But I made it work. How did I make that work? I was actually dating like hot 18-year-olds when I was 40 doing this stuff. Not a lot, but some. So a few things. Number one is everything in terms of your physical appearance is within your control other than your age and your height and maybe your genetics. So age, your numerical age, height, and genetics, you can't change that. But everything else you can change. So you can change your weight, you can change how you dress, you can change your hair, you can change your posture, you can change how you walk, you can change your eye contact. You can change, your weight. I mean, I already said that, but you can change these things. Now, these are easier said than done. You can change these things. You have the ability to change these things. So you can optimize your looks, your physical appearance, again, based on your numerical age, your height, and your genetics. Even your height. Short guys can get elevator shoes. Online, there's a lot of really cool elevator shoe sites. You can get elevator shoes. You can put lifts in your shoes. You can do all kinds of things. If you're an old guy, you can dye your hair. You can fix your balding hair. There's stuff you can do for your skin. So number one is to don't use these things as an excuse. Optimize your appearance as best you can within these factors without making a bunch of excuses. That's one. Two is, once you do that, even though you will have negatives to your physical appearance, I do, and I always have, that means that it's going to add to the number of numbers you need to put in. So when I was overweight, I'm still overweight, but when I was really overweight, I had to put in a lot more numbers, a lot more first dates, a lot more, I had to approach a lot more women to get the same results as a skinny guy did. Mm-hmm. So I did it. I went ahead and did it. I said, all right, I better get to work. Yeah. So you have to put in the extra amount of work. So my son, here's an example of this. My son's good looking, but he's black. And so when he was younger, this is a corollary. When he was much younger, I said to him, you're a black guy living in the United States. And so the facts are that a black guy living in the United States is going to have to work a little harder than a white guy of the equivalent whatever to achieve the same thing. I don't know what that percentage is. Maybe it's 20% harder, 40%. I don't know what that percentage is. But you're going to have to work a little harder to get the same thing a white guy will. That's just reality. So you have two choices. You can say, boo-hoo, this sucks. Everything sucks. The government give me free money and I hate white people. Or you can say, well, I guess I better get to work then. I guess I better put in that extra 20%. And that was my attitude back then when I was really overweight. Well, if I got to put in more work, if I got to be on 6 or 7 dating sites that are 2 or 3, if I have to schedule, 9 first dates instead of 3 or 4, then I guess I better get to work. And I did it. So you do both those things. You have the attitude of putting in the work while maximizing your physical appearance. Both those things.
Yeah. And I agree with you. Like, if you are not lazy, you will get success. There was this. I don't remember the boxer's name, but he said, it doesn't matter now, it doesn't matter tomorrow, it doesn't matter next month or next year. I will succeed, and that's what happened. He became a champion. I don't remember his name. Yeah.
I work hard. I have no problem putting in hard work as long as I get the results.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you're doomed to hard work forever. When I lost the weight, all of a sudden my numbers got easier. It was like an immediate difference. Like, whoa, I don't have to put in quite as many dates now to get the same results with the pretty girls because I weigh 25, 27, 30 pounds less. This is pretty cool. Okay, this is pretty good. And things like, changing your appearance and changing the way you dress. And these are all things within your control that can help these numbers. You do both. You don't do one or the other. You don't just put in double the amount of work because you don't change your physical appearance. Most guys do need to fix something. I've seen a lot of guys. When they come to me, they look like shit. Especially older guys my age and older, they look like crap. Dude, you can't dress like that. You can't walk like that. You can't have the big gray beard, the big white beard. I mean, you can't look like Gandalf. You got to clean it up a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. And right now, most guys have this Gandalf beard. Right now.
A beard is cool. So what I mean specifically is if you're over 35 and you're going after much younger women, like 20-year-olds, you can't have any white hair in your facial hair. You could theoretically have some white hair, but even that you shouldn't have. So it depends what you're after. But yeah, you'll have these guys who are like, big bald spot back here. Guys who are like my age, 50. Big bald spot, big beard that's all white. They look like old men, and they're going to the mall and trying to pick up 20-year-olds. It's not going to work, bro. So you got to clean that up a little bit. And the good news for older guys is that you have the money. You should to address these things. So older guys need to address more things usually, but they usually have more money. Younger guys have less things to address usually.
Yeah. And by the way, you don't look 50, man. You look like 30 something.
I've done everything since in my early 30s. I've done everything I have to do. I exfoliate and moisturize, and I do all that crap. I have a whole procedure every day, every night. Yeah.
Awesome. I wanted to ask you this question. Like, if we don't get this advice too much, like how should a man or how should a guy who has fucked so many girls, how should he act in a relationship?
I don't understand the question.
uh, like
How
most
why would he act any differently?
act any different, like the advice is in the this blue pills fair advice is completely different than than the pickup advice,
Oh, I
so
see.
is
I see.
yeah.
Okay. Blue pill advice is based around I don't want her to leave.
Yeah.
So all the blue pill advice revolves around one thing: do whatever you can to make sure she doesn't leave. So sacrifice this, sacrifice that, do this, do that. Um, make sure you don't piss her off. Make sure you obey what she wants. Make sure go on and on and on and on. And that's blue pill advice is. And the problem with that is if you do that, you will never be happy and you'll never be free. Instead, it's the exact opposite. So my attitude is the exact opposite with all women, including the woman who is my wife. I love you. You're amazing. If you decide that you're unhappy with me at any point in the future, if you make any demands of me at any point in the future, by whether my wife knows this, you'll be out of my house within 48 hours. And most men in the universe, including in the red pill world, don't have that ability to say that to a woman they like. It's one-itis. They don't know how to say that. They can't say that. Oh, I can't do that. Well, then you're fucked. She runs your life. If she can't leave, she runs your life. And so the frame of the man who wants to be happy and free is, she's wonderful, I love her to death, but if at any point drama becomes a pattern of behavior or she makes demands of me, she's out. She's out within 48 hours. And that's someone I live with. If you don't live with her, it's even easier. She's gone. Relationship's over. Or bare minimum, she's downgraded to FB and that's all she'll ever be. My wife is the most wonderful woman I've ever known. I love her more than I've ever been in love with someone. We connect on a spiritual level. It's just amazing in every way. And she knows this, if she ever said to me, you need to be monogamous to me now, you got to stop having sex with other women, or you have to stop working so hard, you have to cut back on your work, on your mission, she'd be out of my house within 48 hours.
Mm-hmm. Don't you think I had this, I won't say it's a problem, but there this downgrading. If you want, there was this line in pickup community, I think it was Julian too, he said this thing like, it is easier to convert a fuck buddy to a girlfriend, long-term girlfriend, but it's very hard to convert a girlfriend to a fuck buddy.
That is correct. That's accurate.
Yeah. And
That's
it
very
will go, I experienced this too, like there will be drama, there will be, you can't say, you can't call her like 2 times a day and to like 1 time a week, you can't convert this. So when downgrading,
well, that
how
you
to
can do. It's difficult, but overall, that's right. It's much easier to downgrade an MLTR to an FB than it is to an OLTR to an FB. And usually, when that happens, is because she's made that decision. She's broken up with you, and then later she circles back to you as an FB. That can happen, but yeah, that is very difficult to go to your OLTR and say, "Look, we're just fuck buddies now." It can happen, but it's hard. He's right. That's accurate.
Cool. So how to deal with that thing? How to deal with that downgrading drama?
A few things. Number one is you have to already have made the decision. So the decision is I need to downgrade her, but if there's a problem, I'm going to have to just end the relationship. And if you can't go there, it's not going to work. So you have to start with, am I willing to lose her? Period. When guys ask me, married guys who ask me how to convert their marriages to non-monogamous marriages, the very first thing out of my mouth is, are you cool with her divorcing you if this doesn't work? If they say, well, no, I'm not. And I say, well, this probably isn't going to work because you won't have the balls to do what's necessary. So it's the same thing with downgrading your girlfriend to an FB. Are you cool with her saying F you and you never see her again? Are you cool with that? Are you prepared for that? Not do you want it? Are you okay if that happens? The answer is yes, then you stick to your guns. If the answer is no, then nothing I can tell you would help. And so under those scenarios, once you made that decision, if she just screams and yells at you and says, well, then you're done. Then you're just not a soft next, it's actually a break. And maybe you can circle back to her in a year or two. Maybe you can do that if you want. Again, as an EP, you could try it that way. But the decision is whether or not I'm prepared to leave her or not.
Cool. How did you decide to get married?
How did I decide to get married, or how? I mean, why I came to that decision?
Yeah, why?
So I knew even when I was with a lot of women that someday I want to settle down with someone again. I am a pair bond. Strangely enough, I'm a pair bonding guy. Even when I was dating multiple women at the same time, there was always one I kind of liked. And so I know of me, if I wasn't with a woman I would want it. It'd be on my mind. It'd be okay. I'd be fine. I'd be very happy. But it was something to be in the back of my mind. I don't want that in the back of my mind. So that's why I did it. Provided two things. It's what I call an OLTR marriage. So it's two aspects. Number one, it's non-monogamous. I can sleep with other women whenever I want without getting permission from her. I can do literally whenever I want. Number one. Number two is there is a financial, physical, international barrier between my money and her money. So if we ever break up or get divorced, I don't lose a single penny. It'll cost me about $120 for a court filing fee, and that's it. I can't get divorced raped. I don't have to pay alimony. I don't have to pay communal property, none of that stuff. So I'm protected no matter what happens. So those are the two parameters before doing this. And if a woman didn't agree to this, she's out. And I told her this when we were serious. If we get married, if we settle down, you're going to have to do this and this. And if you're not willing to do that, you should go date someone else.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it's fine. That's why I did it, because if I hadn't done it, it would be on my mind. So I want to just eliminate that.
Cool. You eliminated this question too, right? Losing all of your money after divorce. So you eliminated that excuse too with that.
Right. So the problem, marriage is okay. There's nothing wrong with marriage. What's wrong with marriage is the monogamy part. If she says no, you're out of luck. And the divorce rate part. If she divorces you, you lose half your money. Or actually, you use more if you pay attorneys and stuff like that. So if you remove those two problems, marriage is great. If you remove those two things, you can sleep with anyone you want, so she can't control you sexually and say, no, you're sleeping on the couch. You're not getting any tonight. She can't do that because you can sleep with someone else. And she can't threaten, I'm going to divorce you and take half your money, blah, blah. She can't threaten these things. Now we're good. Now we're on a level playing field. Yeah, then marriage is fine. I don't recommend men move in with a woman until they're at least 35. I think men make a big mistake if they're younger and they do that. So this is only advice for men who are over 35, in my opinion. So I got married to her when I was 47. My purpose was 10 years between divorces. I waited 10 years.
You have been married for 4 years, yeah?
Yes,
almost
4 years. We're going into our 8th year together. We've been married 4. Right.
Awesome. Can you please? It's just a related question. Can you please elaborate on how your assets are protected?
Yeah, so I can't elaborate much. I am actually legally barred from revealing specifics on how I've done this.
Okay.
So I have to give you just generalities. First of all, I'll answer your second question. I live in Dubai, and my wife, she is an American. I'm an American. She's an American. We're both very American people. We live in Dubai. Elaborate how my assets are protected. Well, a few things. I can't give you details. Number one is she signed, when we moved in together, she signed a stack of paperwork about this thick, about 35 pages of enforceable things that are actually enforceable, because a lot of prenuptial paperwork, cohabitation agreements are not enforceable. So do the research first, make sure that wherever you're doing this, the legal paperwork is enforceable in your jurisdiction. There are most parts of the Western world where it's not enforceable, the UK, Australia, state of California. You can make her sign anything and it won't be enforceable. She can challenge it in court. So you have to make sure it's enforceable. So it's enforceable. She had to sign it, had to be witnessed by her attorney. I mean, I went through the entire process. That's number one. Number two is I have a lot of international assets that can't be touched and can't be found. I can declare them. I have to legally declare them, but you can't go get them. So if you own a property, you own real estate in Vietnam and you live in, Canada and you get divorced, how is she going to go get that? You own a bunch of cryptocurrency. How is she going to get that? Stuff like that. You can also do things like international trusts. There's various things you can do. I can't give you more specifics than that, but make sure whatever you sign is enforceable, and then have assets that are very difficult or impossible to get to. And then you're covered no matter what happens.
Cool. The situation with this Aditya, he's Indian, and he's probably asking about India. So the situation in India is that you can't do a prenup. You can sign some. No, you cannot. Because you can sign any paper, but she can challenge it in court, and you have to pay.
That's correct.
Yeah, you have.
So then guess what? Guess what? And guys hate when I say this. You can't get married in India. Either move in with each other. Can you move in with each other and do a cohabitation agreement? You know about that? Jurisdictions you can do that. I don't know how that works in India, though.
I'm not sure about agreement, but you can move in.
You live together, but you're not legally married, but it still protects your assets in case you break up. So it's if you're living together and not married. I don't know if you can do that in India or not. So that's one option. If that's not an option, then guess what? You don't get married in India, you leave. I moved out of my country, move out of your country, go somewhere more sane, or You go to the second world or third world, like South America, where none of these things are enforced at all. Either there is no such thing as alimony or child support, or there is, but places like Colombia where there is, but it's not enforced. The government doesn't get involved. So one of those two. But if you have a country where you cannot protect yourself financially, don't get married in that country or jurisdiction. Don't do it. By the way, I know about India. Your divorce rate is skyrocketing. India used to be a 1% divorce rate country. Now I know a lot of guys in India who are going through divorces. A lot. It's becoming more Western. So the divorce rate's going, whoop, so it's no longer a safe place to get married. Can't do it.
Yeah. Why do you think the divorce rate is high in West or anywhere?
Why is the divorce rate high?
Yeah.
Because that is normal and natural in a society where women can do whatever they want. The only reason the divorce rate was low in places like India or in my ex-country, the United States, back in the 1950s, the divorce rate was about 7-8%, was because women culturally and legally weren't allowed to do whatever they wanted. When women are allowed to legally do whatever they want, and I think they should, I'm a libertarian, I think all human beings should do whatever they want, then divorce rate is a very high divorce rate is normal and natural because human beings were never designed to be long-term monogamous. Biologists will tell you, and they'll tell you this very quietly because they have wives too, but biologists will tell you human beings are pair bonding creatures, but we are not monogamous creatures. So what do human beings generally like to do? They like to pair bond with they like to pair bond with one special person, but get some on the side. That's what human beings, particularly men, like to do. And the traditional marriage model doesn't allow for this. Therefore, you get a 76+% actual real divorce rate. That is normal. The only way you can't do that is to have a very oppressive culture, a very conservative or very religious oppressive culture that tells people you better not get divorced. Everyone will hate you, your family will hate you, and you won't get any money and you'll be fucked. And that's the only way you keep the divorce rate low. A very restrictive culture, or you have a free culture with a high divorce rate. And the perfect world is a free culture where people embrace these models I'm talking about, where you're allowed, if you're married, you're allowed to go get some on the side with their ground rules agreed to. Then you mitigate. You still might get divorced, but you mitigate it. You reduce the odds of getting divorced, and more importantly, you lessen the damage that occurs when you get divorced.
Yeah.
So if I got divorced, there would be far less damage to me than the typical guy with a typical relationship.
Yeah, I agree.
And my finances are protected. My business life, my financial life continues without a single hitch. My sexual life continues without a single hitch. I would be sad if I got divorced. I'd be sad. I wouldn't have a good week that week, but my life would continue. Whereas some men don't even recover from getting divorced. 10 years plus, they're still miserable.
Cool. This question, what are your thoughts on moving in with fuck buddy?
Do not move in with a fuck buddy, ever. Do not move into that FB. That's not what they are for. Nope. Don't move into an MLTR either. So the way it works is FBs, no. MLTRs, no. But if you like her, date her for 6 months, at least 6 months. If she's really great after 6 months, upgrade her to OLTR, date her for another 6 months or a year. If she's still great, then move in with her. That's exactly what I did. Then you're good. You don't just move in with a girl because she's cute. That's what most guys do, and that's dumb.
She's cute.
That's what most guys do. She's cute and fun, or she's cute and nice. Okay, let's move in together. Nope. You don't know
she's nice. She cooks.
Anyway.
Yeah. Cool. I was yesterday. I was watching this. I was just on YouTube, and the Jordan Peterson. He has this video. It came up that as a man, if you get in a confrontation with another man, the situation can get to the physical part. Like you can get in a physical part. But if you get in an argument with a girl, there is a certain limit to till you can go. You can't go beyond that. So
correct.
But she can do it. So how to? I was like, I will ask this question to from you, because you have been very experienced, and that's why. So what do you think about this thing? How to deal with it?
It's country dependent. It depends on the country you're in. So if you are in a country where United States, Canada, some parts of Europe, where your girlfriend, your live-in girlfriend can call the police and you will immediately go to jail because you've hit her. No questions asked. Then you need to establish a no violence policy. And that means if she ever makes it physical, one slap, you're out and you're out forever. Because I'm not a psychologist, but my dad was. If someone does it once, they'll do it again.
Yeah.
So you have to have, now if you live in South America, do whatever you want. Okay. But if you live in a country where the cops and the family court system is going to lean against you as a man and lean toward her side, you have to have a no violence policy. So the reason I divorced my first wife, I've talked about this before, is she had a temper problem. And so one day we were talking in the garage. She was angry. We were arguing, something I never do with my current marriage. We're arguing, screaming at each other. And she had a coffee cup in her hand full of coffee. And she threw it down at my feet and it shattered and exploded hot coffee fragments all over my legs and my feet. And I said, I shouldn't have even said this. This is what I said. I said, that's the first time. If there is ever a second time, there will never be a third time. You'll never see me again. Now, if you need to go to anger management therapy, whatever, fine, I'll work with you, but this can't happen again. You just made it physical. This can't happen again. She was fine for about 6 weeks. About 6 weeks later, we were talking about something. She was arguing. We were in my home office. She leapt across my desk and scratched my face. And I was out of the house within 48 hours. This was the mother of my children, gone. Because had I even, and I didn't do it, I didn't defend myself. I mean, I just did this. If I had even just shoved her against the wall, she could have immediately called 911 and I wouldn't have been in jail. So that's not horrible. So that's how you handle that. You have to have an absolute. Now, interestingly enough, I have never had that problem since then. That was 16, 17 years ago. Since adopting a non-monogamous lifestyle, low drama lifestyle, not one woman has ever been physical with me, ever. Not one. And there's been scores of them. Interesting. But that's what you have to do.
I agree.
You have to say and have that attitude. You touch me once in anger, you will never see me again because I can't go to jail. I got shit to do. I'm not going to prison because you had a bad day. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's the only answer. If you live in one of those countries. Now, again, there's a lot of countries where you can get away with that stuff. That's a different topic. And I don't hit women, but that's the attitude. In the Western world, that's the attitude you have to have. One slap and you're gone. You'll never see me again.
I agree. And this thing too, right? If the girl knows that you can leave, she will cause less drama.
Correct. So my wife knows if she leaves, I still get laid and she gets no money. So she has much more incentive to make the marriage work than my first wife, who was the opposite. She said, she didn't say she knew. I'm going to get half his money. I'm going to get a bunch of alimony. I'm going to get a bunch of free cash. I'm going to get a bunch of child support. It's going to be great. And then he won't be able to find someone else because I'm hot. What is he going to do? So she had much less incentive to make it work. Absolutely right.
Cool. And also, I should have asked this question early in the stream, but if when you are just placing these frames, what is the incentive for her to stay in the relationship? What you are the frame you are putting out. So why would a girl like say why should a girl will be a fuck buddy when you are fucking other girls, or why should she be your girlfriend and you are fucking other girls?
Several reasons. Number one, she'll be with a guy who never tells her what to do. And women today love that, because what women today are used to is they get up and leave, and the boyfriend or guy they're dating, not even the boyfriend, the guy they're dating, where are you going? Well, where are you going? Well, text me when you get there. They date a guy like me, I don't care. You can do whatever you want. And so one of the things they say is it's so nice to be with a guy who doesn't try to control me, who never tells me what to do. This is great. Number one. Number two, a guy that never judges her. So she can live any way she wants and she gets no judgment. Number three, a guy who never raises her voice. I don't raise my voice to women in anger. I don't raise my voice in anger at all. So a guy who never gets mad, that's very compelling to women. So you're going to be with a guy who never gets mad and lets you do literally whatever you want, including in some cases, hook up with other guys and still not get mad. That's a big value to it. Even if women don't want to do it, just talking to a woman the other day, she goes, we don't want to do it. We just want the same rules. So usually when you tell a woman you can too, she's not going to go do it, but she wants the same rule set as you have. And women love that because they don't get it from any other guy. Those are the reasons. I mean, I could go on, but those are the big ones. And again, she's never experienced that from any other guy she's ever dated in her entire life. She's never, if you do a soft next, or she says, I'm going to go fuck someone else, you go, okay. She's never experienced that. She knows, and that's why my return rate for women is 94%. I track all this in spreadsheets. 94% of women who leave me eventually come back to me. It might take them a year or two, but they come back. And one of the biggest reasons, it's not because I'm some gorgeous guy or I'm some amazing pickup artist dude. It's because I'm a nice guy who is nice to them, doesn't judge them, never tells them what to do, and never raises my voice. And they don't experience that with other men.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Amazing, man. Amazing. You dropped so many amazing wisdom today. So,
Cool.
what are the like plans for future for you?
Oh, I got a lot. I got a lot of plans. They're all business stuff. I work. I have 3 companies. I work 6 days a week, day and nights. I like to work. I have big goals. We're setting up a company in the healthcare sector. I'm really leaning toward, now that I've set up all my 5 flag stuff, I have legal residencies in 5 different countries, and now I'm pursuing passports in 2 other countries. I'm getting some foreign real estate this year. We're doing a lot of things this year. We're hiring a sales team. There's all kinds of shit I'm doing. I mean, it would take me an hour. But one thing, if you're asking about my relationship life, one thing I'm working on with my wife is something I've wanted for a while, is that instead of having multiple women on the side, having just one solid long-term, like super FB. So I have my wife and like the super FB person who is much more consistent and who maybe can follow us around as we travel and things like that. Make it easier on me so I could just put in some more time working. Don't have that yet. It's still multiple women on the side, which is fine. Not complaining about that. But yeah, there's all kinds of things I'm doing.
Cool. Last question. What are your favorite books?
Favorite nonfiction books?
What kind of book? Like any books? Any books?
Any books.
Yeah.
So my top 3 nonfiction books are Maximum Achievement by Brian Tracy, How I Found Freedom in an Unfree World by Harry Brown, and Robert Ringer, Winning Through Intimidation. Those are probably the 3 like Bibles. Those are really good books. Mm-hmm. I've read a lot, hundreds of books. So those are, let's see. In terms of fiction books, I'm a fantasy nerd because I'm so reality based and objective in my real life. I like to go into the fantasy world when I read a book. So I like fantasy novels. Everyone likes Lord of the Rings. So that's an easy one. Like the First Law trilogy is really good if you like fantasy books. That's really, really good. Malazan Book of the Fallen is probably the best series ever written. Better than Lord of the Rings, minus the last 2 books. My favorite single novel is Noble House by James Clavell. He's the guy that wrote Shogun. And it still occurs in that world just hundreds of years later. Mm-hmm. See, I could totally nerd out on books, dude. Love books.
Cool. And okay, last question. What do you think about this? As a man, what should be the final goal?
The final goal as a man?
Yeah, like to grow and to like achieve. Because I'm a young guy. I'm 25 right now. So what should I focus on right now? What should I be focusing on 25 years later? What should I focus on?
Well, that's
35?
easy, but that's my opinion. Everyone's going to give you a different answer to that question. So my opinion, my whole life philosophy is you're on this world to experience long-term consistent happiness. It's why you exist, in my opinion. You're not here to suffer and toil. You're not here to be mad or scared. That's not why. Why would that be your purpose? You're here to experience happiness as long-term as you can for the rest of your life. The only way to do that as a man, with some exceptions, there are rare exceptions who don't fall in this category as men, but most men, the only way to do that is to maximize the amount of freedom you have for the rest of your life. And to set a very high standard for your freedom that will never drop below that standard no matter what. And the way I talk about this is that you, on a scale of 1 to 10, your freedom is an 8, a 9, or a 10. And then step 1 is you get it to that point, both in your business life and your business life and your woman life, both these areas, non-monogamy, location-dependent income, your own business. Okay. So you crank it up as high as you can. Then you take a hammer and a nail and you nail it there so it never drops below that level. Even if you fall in love with a girl and you want to have kids. Well, I guess I better be monogamous. No. Even if your dad says, don't start that business, you need to be a dentist. No. You leave it there and you maintain your freedom for as long as you can throughout the rest of your life so that you can experience that long-term happiness. That's the bottom line for a man, in my opinion.
Cool. Thanks, man. Thank you so much, bro. Thanks
You
for
bet.
this. And how can people reach you? How can people connect you?
So I have
And
2 websites. I have 2 different brands. CalebJones.com, CALEB. That is Sovereign CEO. That's how to develop your own location-dependent business so you can move to a less bad country. That's that. And then Alpha Male 2.0, alphamale20.com. That's all my dating and relationship stuff. You go there. So, and I have books and blogs and videos, and I got all kinds of stuff.
yeah,
NFTs, we got all kinds of stuff.
links are
Courses.
in the description.
Cool.
Yeah. Cool. So anything else you want to talk about? Or
No, that's it. Don't be dissuaded by mom. We love mom, but mom doesn't run our lives. We can love mom and respect mom and still not do what mom wants when we're adults. Mom and dad. Usually it's mom, but mom and dad. Mom, dad, grandma. Your life belongs to you, not them.
Yeah. Oh man. So thanks for coming in, man, and I really appreciate it that you took your time. Thank you so much.
No problem. Had fun. It's great.
Okay. See you in the next one, guys. GG.
Right. Bye.